Okay, so today I'm gonna share with you a dog day with Buddy. So Buddy is a golden retriever poodle mix, and he is 3/4 golden retriever and 1/4 poodle. So most people who wants a poodle mix would actually want it because they are non-shedding, but because he is 3/4 golden retriever, he does shed a lot. So yeah, let me show you how much he sheds. There you go. That's all, Buddy. So I try to shed him most days a week so that there won't be a lot of fur in the house or he won't shed on me. But I guess it's not, maybe it's working, but it's just not working as effectively as I wish it would. So for any dog parent, you already know that every day is gonna be a dog day, even weekends. We start the day with me taking him out to poop and pee.
Morning.
And then coming back in so that he can have his breakfast. From there, I would be starting my shift so he could play around with his toys, sleep in the crate, do whatever he wants. At around 12, I'll be on lunch at work and we'll be walking to the dog park for about 30 minutes, and then I let him play there with the other dogs or with his toys that we bring.
Buddy.
Then we go back again at the house so that he can have his lunch, and then after lunch he would just be playing with toys or sleeping in his crate. At 7, we will again be walking outside so that he could poop and pee, and then we come back in and he'd be playing until he goes to sleep. So once a week, because he is white. Oh. So once a week, because he is white, I do give him a bath because he likes rolling around in the grass and the mud. So, and he wants to cuddle, so I don't really want to cuddle with a dirty dog. Oh. Na ano ka? Sorry, joke lang. Baka ano na itong aso. I actually feel like having a dog here is more involved than having a dog in the Philippines, because in the Philippines as kids we had outside dogs, so they would be tied in a pole near their dog house, so they can pee or poop whenever they want, they can play whenever they want, and then we feed them. That's basically what we do. We just feed the dogs, and then sometimes, of course, on weekends we can play with them because we're not in school. Because the Texas weather is harsh, where sometimes it's too cold outside and sometimes it's too hot outside for a dog to be an outside dog. Most dogs are inside dogs, and then that would have you involved in their everyday things. You need to let them go out to pee and poop, and let them go out to play, and they won't be able to do that without you. Some dog owners will still have their dogs outside, give them hay so that in the winter, so that they won't feel so cold, or they give them a cooling pad in the summer so they won't feel so hot. We don't have that kind of setup, so he is an inside dog. So because he is an inside dog, taking care of him becomes more involved, because aside from needing to take him out to pee and poop and play, I also need to give him a bath, and I also need to shed him every week, because he does shed a lot, and I wouldn't want the house to be covered in fur. And also he likes to roll in the grass, and other dogs pee and poop in the grass, so I wouldn't want that kind of dirt to be tracked inside the house. Another reason why taking care of a dog is more involved here than my experience in the Philippines is because there's a lot of people who are hyper focused on certain things. So I don't fault them for that, but my concept of taking care of a dog is, first, you feed him, make sure he doesn't starve. Second, you let him play, let out all his energy. Third, you let him rest, let him sleep whenever he wants. And then fourth, you keep him groomed. Not necessarily through a groomer, but just give him a bath, shed him. That's it. That's it for how I take care of a dog. Other people will be hyper focused on that. They want their dogs to eat greens. They want their dogs to live a long life, and that's not a problem, except when they try to judge other dog parents based on their standards of taking care of a dog. Let me tell you about this lady that we met at the dog park. So I call her JBL, which stands for Judgmental Black Lady. I know you probably hate me. Why do I have to bring race into the equation? I'm gonna tell you in a bit. So initially, she comes in with her two dogs. Her two dogs are the small breed that likes to bark at everything. So they bark at every passing car and whatever, and then they keep on barking at Buddy, even if Buddy actually tried to show them his tummy, which is basically a symbol that he's not a threat. So they did that, and they were horsing around and whatever, and then at one point, JBL says, "Okay, we gotta go." So they were about to leave, and I was calling Buddy, and because they were still playing, he doesn't heed the call. He doesn't look at me or whatever. He's distracted. And she's like, "Do you have treats?" And okay, this is how she talks. And I don't know, this is so stiff and this is so unnatural, so I thought it was a bit offensive how she talks. But anyway, later on I'll tell you that I gave her the benefit of the doubt. But okay, the first time I'm like, No, I don't. And she's like, you're supposed to have treats. You should have treats. I think she said, you should have treats. So that when you call him, he goes to you. He doesn't seem to know his name. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'll do that next time. So I appreciate the advice. I don't appreciate the tone, but I follow the advice. And right now, I don't know if it's such a good idea, because right now the issue that I have is he doesn't come when he knows I don't have treats. So I think I need to tweak that a bit to petting him and whatever when I call him, so that he won't be focused on getting a treat. Anyway, I'm like, oh yeah, alright, that's a good idea. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, watch your tone. But whatever, right? Strangers, you don't need to. You don't need to correct them, whatever. She goes out the dog park. One of her dogs goes a different direction than her and the other dog, and she starts calling that's an 8-year-old dog, by the way. And guess what? No distraction, nothing. The dog doesn't come to her. I'm like, yeah, teach me something you don't know. Anyway, the second time we went to the dog park, she was already there. And in my head, I was thinking, maybe I was just too sensitive the first time. Let's give her a chance. Maybe she meant well and whatever. So we went to the dog park. This is the same thing with her dogs, barking and whatever. Then she asks me, what do you feed your dog? And I'm like, he eats Blue. Blue is marketed well here as a good dog food, so that's why we bought it. We didn't really go into research or whatever. She goes, you shouldn't feed your dog Blue, because there's a lawsuit against Blue because a dog died. I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know that. And she said, yeah, and when my dogs ate Blue in the past, they started throwing up. So it's really not a good dog food. So I said, oh, it's a good thing, but he doesn't throw up with Blue. I don't see any adverse effects that the dog food has on him. And she's like, yeah, but a dog died, so you shouldn't feed your dog Blue. And I'm like, okay, I'll look into that. Because I'm like, I'm not about to tell you, no, I'm gonna feed him Blue. Go fuck yourself. Because I'm not about to argue with you what I feed my dog, and I'm not, I don't need to tell you what I do. So you can say your advice in that snotty way, and yeah, that's on you. And now let's talk about why the race came in. So there was another lady there. She was white, and they were, I think, from the way that I hear their conversation, it was nice, and there wasn't really a tone. And then at the point of the conversation, I mentioned that I'm staying in this apartment with my boyfriend. And then she goes, is your boyfriend black? And I said, yeah, why? And she said, nothing, I just want to know. And I'm like, okay, you brought race into it. And then later on, she asks me again, do you have black friends? And I'm like, no, I'm just visiting actually, so. And then I asked her why. And then she said, nothing, I just also wanted to know. And I'm like, this girl. And I'm like, anyway, the white lady mentioned something about COVID, and then JBL starts, I think COVID separates sinners from believers. And I'm like, oh my god, you're a Karen. That's all in my head, because I'm not about to say it. And I'm not about to agree or disagree with her, because no, I don't agree with you. And second, yeah, I don't need to teach you anything. If you came up with that thinking on your own at an age where you're at, because she does look like she's older than me, then there's nothing I can say right now that will make you change your mind. And I'm not here to educate you, I'm at the dog park to play with my dog. So I'm like, okay. Okay, whatever. I just look at her. The white lady who was with us starts, no, I think it's something that would have to do with immune system, not really about the religious belief and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I probably look like an airhead over there just saying yeah to that. But I'm not about to discuss to you why it's not about religion. Anyway, I was kind of astounded too because I only see that on TV where people are judgmental or I don't know, self-righteous or whatever. And I only see that on TV. And at that point, I was like seeing you are actually like this. I guess Karens all over the world are different races. So there you go. And then the next time we saw her at the dog park, we avoided her. I am not about to ruin my dog park experience just because you want to be a Karen. Now, there's not really a lot of people who are like that here. Most people would actually want to pet him and he gets so excited when he sees strangers, and some strangers would be like, can I pet him? And since he likes it anyway, I'm like, go ahead, everybody happy. And most people actually like him. They think he's very cute. I think you're cute. Actually, in the beginning, I didn't think so. But he's growing on me. He's growing on me. Oh my god. You need the breath mint. Anyway, so it's almost 12, so we're gonna get ready to go to the dog park. And you can come with us. Come with us.
Buddy.